guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Wait a minute, we'll start again. Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Friday, March 8th, 2024. Welcome to another eBay video. Today's main topic, I'm going to discuss a customer service agent that should not be an eBay customer service agent. It's an egregious case of somebody that doesn't know their job and should not know and should not be in the position they're in. Before we get started, I don't want to make this sound like all eBay customer service agents are crazy and unskilled at their job. That's not the case. Most of them are very good and know what they're doing. Occasionally, and I do mean occasionally, you're going to run into one that's just really seriously bad. And what this person did violates so many different procedures on eBay that it will boggle your mind. What's even worse is this is the second time this has happened to me in the last few months. I don't know how this kind of situation could ever occur. But yeah, this is the first day we've seen any sun at all this week, Friday, and it's also the last day we're going to see any sun for a while. More rain coming in tomorrow and Sunday. I mean, the ground is saturated. We can't use anymore. But let's get started with the eBay video. Yesterday afternoon was the eBay seller check-in, and I hope some of you guys were able to attend that. I saw a lot of familiar names there. I'm going to really start off, though, by discussing what I mentioned earlier, the bad eBay customer service agent, because most of you guys are probably more interested in that anyway. I'm going to firstly give you a prequel. I'm going to explain how the situation came about. Then we'll go inside, do some screenshots, then come back out. So let's get started. Several weeks ago, I told you about a situation that had manifested itself on eBay. I'm going to start off by a quick rehash right now. Several weeks ago, a person purchased 2 alloy wheel center caps from me on eBay. Let's say it was on a Monday, and I shipped them right out. On Wednesday, they contacted me and said that their address was no longer valid, that they needed them shipped to another address. I wrote back and said, "Too bad, buddy boy. You're responsible to have your address on file with eBay at all times. The order has already been shipped out. However, if they do come back to me, I will give you a refund of your purchase price." Thinking that would be fine. The buyer then wrote back to me the next day as if he didn't see a thing I said. He said, "I want them reshipped to my new address." Now, I ain't doing that. I'll be glad to give them a refund, but I'm not going to reship them, okay? I'll relist them if he wants to buy them again. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So, the day after, he emails me again. "I want them reshipped to my new address." Now, keep in mind, I don't even have them back yet, so I can't give him a refund on the purchase price. What does he do next? He opened a return request. And I told you this in last week's video. And I said to you guys, how is it possible that he can open a return request on an item he doesn't have? I said he's basically hung himself, because now I can't do anything. I can't give him the refund if the items do come back to me. And he certainly can't send them back to me unless maybe he did receive them after all. Okay, that's the groundwork. Let's go to the screenshots. Let's go in, and then I'll come back out. In one of my previous videos, I told you guys about this buyer who bought some alloy wheel caps from me. Then after making the purchase 2 days later, he contacted me and told me that his address was incorrect. He wanted me to reship them. I told him I would not do it, but that if they came back to me, I would give him a purchase price refund, and that was all, not the shipping. So as you can see here, on February 26th, he actually filed a return request even though he didn't have the items. And I told you that in last week's video. Okay? But what happened? Now look at this. Look. Ordered by mistake. Now, originally he told me he gave me the wrong address. Now he's saying he ordered them by mistake. I won't be needing them anymore. My vehicle was wrecked over the weekend. My wife is in the hospital. Okay. So that happened. Now, yesterday, March 7th, look at the time. This is important. I'm going to be asking questions later. 11:34 a.m. eBay notifies me my funds are on hold because he opened a case against me. Please tell me how, when a person files a return request and it's accepted, how that person can open a case when they've never sent the items back. Also, the timestamp, 11:34. Now watch this. 16 minutes later, I'm contacted again. We reviewed the case and decided to issue the buyer a full refund. Our records show you did not respond to the case. When sellers don't respond to a case, they automatically lose the claim. So apparently, according to eBay rules, we only have 16 minutes to respond to a case now. Unbelievable, but true. Let's get back to the video. Okay, guys. I know it's hard to believe, but let's do a quick encapsulation. Everything that went down, other than what I just told you before the screenshots, went down yesterday, which was Thursday, March 7th. It so happens, if you look at the timestamp, I think the first one was 11:34. That's Pacific time. Okay, it's 3 hours later here, which is 2:34 our time, and during that time I was already logged into the eBay event, which started at 2:00 p.m. So I wasn't aware of it for the first few minutes. Then the presentation went on break, so I jumped on eBay and I saw the messages that a case was opened against me. Now, guys, if you open a return request to return an item, you're supposed to return the item. You should not be able to escalate it to a case. But yet, that happened. That's strike number one. Strike number two, if a case is opened against you, you have, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 days to respond to the case, which is understandable. I was given 16 minutes, probably even less. Strike two, unacceptable. The customer service agent then unfairly took the money out of my account and even charged me for shipping both ways. Strike three. This customer service agent does not belong answering a phone, in my opinion. So what I did was yesterday, I called eBay. I got a customer service agent who knew what she was doing, showed her everything, and she apologized profusely and said it should never have happened. She would escalate the matter, find in my favor, and give me a full refund. And I said to her, well, that's fine. I said, but we're not done. I said, can you tell by looking at your screen who the customer service agent was who did this to me? She said, yes, I can. I said, for the love of God, would you please have either your boss or somebody in power consult with them? Because if they did it to me, I'm sure they're doing it to other people. My customer service agent agreed with me and said it was definitely mishandled. It should never, ever have happened, and that they need to be retrained. And the reason why I'm making this video and I'm addressing this is because I know that some of the powers that be watch this video, and I want them to go into my account and I want them to see how this happened, how it came about, and that person needs to be schooled. It should never happen. I read so many posts in the eBay Facebook groups where people complain, sellers complain about a certain situation that happened, and I always see people responding saying, keep calling customer service till you get a representative who understands your situation. Can you believe that? That you got to spin the wheel of fortune and hope that it lands on someone who's knowledgeable? Now, thankfully, most of the time I call, I get someone who's knowledgeable. But like I said, this is the second time a case was opened against me when a person filed for a return who never returned the item. This is freaking ridiculous that this could ever come to pass. Yeah, I admit I'm kind of triggered by this because we as sellers are held to a certain standard and we have to address everything, all right? We have to obey eBay rules to the letter, and that's understandable. But buyers need to be held to the same accountability, and it's just not happening, all right? It's just not happening. As far as my buyer was concerned, like I said, first he told me that the address was bad, okay? I believed him. Then in the return request, he says he wrecked his vehicle and his wife's in the hospital. He changed his story. I don't know what the truth is, guys. I honestly, at this point, do not know. Okay? Now, I also called, I shouldn't say called, I should have requested a call back yesterday for another weird thing that happened on eBay. But this was pretty good. Now, yesterday, Thursday, March 7th, I had to request a call back a second time from concierge. Something weird happened, but not necessarily bad. Actually, I think it was a good thing, but I'll explain it to you in case it happens to you. You may remember I told you the story a week or two ago of a person who purchased an item from me. I waited a few hours, printed the label, boom, shipped, and she tried to cancel. I said, no way. When that label's printed, it's shipping. She said, no problem, I'll just file for a return. I said, go right ahead. So she got the item and she filed for a return and she selected either change mine or bought item by mistake. She admitted culpability. The item was $25 plus $15 shipping. These figures are important right now. All right, she sends the item back to me and I get it. So yesterday I gave her a refund of the full purchase price, $25. Within 3 minutes, she is in my eBay messages complaining I only gave her back $10. I said, you're incorrect. I said, I gave you $25 and I sent her a screenshot to show that I sent her $25 refund. She responded with a screenshot of her own showing she only got a $10 refund. So I'm like, wow, that's weird. So I told her I'd call concierge and get to the bottom of it, and I did. And the explanation was actually pretty simple. I did give her the $25 refund, but eBay deducted the $15 label cost for the shipping from her return and gave her back the remainder, which was $10. That's the reason. I'm very glad eBay did it that way. I think they're doing it correctly, but they didn't make it clear to the customer why she was only getting $10 back. They really should put full refund $25 minus $15 for shipping label cost. Your net refund is $10. It didn't say anything like that. It just said refund of $10. It made it look like I was dicking her over, but I really wasn't. So yeah, that's something you need to know about in case it happens to you, because the odds are it just may. As far as sales this week, it was just an insane week, and not particularly in a good way. First off, earlier this week, I think it was Sunday or Monday, it was really slow. So, out of desperation, and I do mean desperation, I sent out 100 offers to watchers, which I hate to do because it never works out. Out of those 100 offers, 3 people responded, and they all responded within the first 4 minutes, which is great. I was so happy. I said, wow, this is great. Not really. Customer number one paid immediately and about 15 seconds later requested a cancellation. Because they showed him the same item cheaper from another customer, from another seller. I hadn't printed the label, so I had to approve the cancellation. Customer number two never paid at all. All right, another strike. Customer number three paid. So out of the 3 people that accepted my offers, only one of the sales came to fruition. eBay has stated that they're going to change this and require immediate payment. That is something I really look forward to. I still do not think that any of these deadbeat buyers are getting unpaid item strikes. I'm not referring to the guy that canceled. All right, I'm referring to the guy that just disappeared. And if it means anything, he was from Canada, because I double checked to be sure to see where he was from. Maybe he didn't like the shipping cost or something, but nonetheless, he screwed up, and he should get an unpaid item strike for that. As I said regarding cancellations, I had 3 of them this week. 3 cancellations. The one I just told you about. Then I had a guy for a Mercury hub. He did the buy it now. He paid right away. And then about 3 hours later, he wants to cancel. 3 hours. Now, it so happened I wasn't home. I wasn't at work. I'll tell you where I was. I was out on a pick. I was on a pick at the junkyard. And therefore, I didn't get to do any shipping. So it was basically no harm, no foul. I hadn't printed the label. But I wrote back to him. I wanted to hold him accountable. I said, listen, I haven't printed the label yet, so I can do the cancellation. But I would really like to know why you're canceling this. Did you accidentally place the bid by mistake? What was your reason? And he wrote back and said that he thought it was the correct item for his car. He never went downstairs to check. 3 hours later, he decides to go outside and check, and he sees it's the wrong one. That was his reason. But since I did not print the label, I accepted that cancellation as well. I don't like cancellations, but as I said, as long as I haven't printed the label, I'll accept them. If that label's printed, it's going. Just like the lady with the Oldsmobile learned a hard lesson. It cost her $30 to get back $25. I think from now on she's going to be a little bit more careful about reading, don't you? Alright guys, let's bring this to a close. Let's do a summation. The week in general was very, very unusual. This is not a textbook week by any means. I don't want you guys to be nervous and think that all eBay customer service agents are inept. That's not the case. But I do feel when you come across one that's so egregious and so bad, like the one I had yesterday, that needs to be brought out, and eBay itself needs to retrain these people or maybe boot them. Either one works for me, because she or he made way too many fundamental mistakes. Just disgusting. Just disgusting. Guys, I hope you make a lot of money this week on eBay. I'm Crazy New York Driver. You're not. Rock on and peace.